Well, first, I mean, again, just very proud of our guys for the effort that they gave. I thought K-State came in, with a good game plan. They have terrific players, and to be quite frank, they're missing one of their best players, in Dawkins. And I don't care who we are as coaches. We're better when we have our, best players out there on the floor. So that's always challenging. I know we've gone through that a little this year. They're going through it now. And in this league, it's very unforgiving. So when you're in those situations, it can be very challenging. And just really proud of our guys for coming out, and when the young man Dawkins didn't play, for understanding that we still had to have the right mindset, not let up, still play our game, knowing that he wasn't going to be out there. And I was really proud our guys were able to keep that kind of focus and play with that type of maturity.
Coach, career high in blocks tonight for Moustapha in his first double-double ever. What is it like to have a guy like that down low, holding down the paint?
Well, it's important. I mean, you have to have somebody that can protect the rim, especially in this league, because you have so many talented players that can go off the bounce and get to the basket. You have so many post players that can score down low that you need guys down there that can protect the rim and rebound and block shots and alter shots. I thought he blocked 8, but he probably altered about another 2 or 3. And it's good to have him back. It's good to have him back out there active.
And Coach, just to elaborate more on that, he tied an all-time record at UCF with 8 blocks. I mean, talk about him being so young and still new to Big 12, and he's putting up stat lines like that.
Well, he's growing, right, like I said, right in front of our eyes. I think he's really grown a lot, as we started league play. I watched how he played in the preseason to where he is now. Just his activities picked up so much more. Like, he had a double-double today. He had 10 rebounds, 11 points, 8 blocks, almost at a triple-double. And you're just seeing him become more active as he gains confidence and seeing what he can do. I think the game is starting to slow down for him. Like most really good players, you get into a situation where the game was moving very fast for him when we first started the season. But you can see the game is slowing down for him now, and he's playing with a lot more composure. He understands what he can do, and he's getting better.
You said in practice you challenged him to a double-double, and he said he wanted to come on and prove that.
Yes, and I'll mention that tomorrow in film. I literally just challenged him about that, and I said, hey, it's amazing that you haven't had a double-double, for as talented as you are, and when are you going to end up doing stuff like that because you're capable? And so it's funny, he did it right away. But that's what it's all part of his learning it's his learning curve. But he's a terrific young human being, as good as a player as he is, and you see how talented he is and how good he can be. But he's even a better person. He's a great young man.
So that story, was that in the film session yesterday when you mentioned that to him?
No, it was actually last night. We were at a recruit dinner.
Okay.
And we were going back to meet with our team to go over, some more of our game plan that evening. So I had a chance, he and I were off by ourselves. So I had a chance to kind of talk with him, and that's what I was challenging him on.
So when he got it, I mean, did you say something to him? Did he come over to you, or kind of what was the dialogue like?
No. I'll end up saying something to him tomorrow about it. I didn't today. We wanted to just celebrate it as a team and then go to the next play because, as this league goes, you're going right from one to another. So, but I will mention it tomorrow in front of the team, that was a great accomplishment for him.
Coach Tang just told us that their plan was to contain Keyshawn and Darius, yet they were able to combine for 49 points tonight. How do you think they were able to get over that hump?
Well, I mean, these young men have been, in these situations a lot. They're 2 experienced players. They've been scorers, throughout their careers in college, and that's always challenging for everyone. And I thought they both did a good job of being patient. I thought Keyshawn was patient in the first half and let the game come to him. I thought he really kind of, got going more in the second half. And I thought Darius, I thought he set the tone in the first half. I thought he really got going early in the first half, and he made some, of course, big plays in the second as well. But those guys are experienced. They kind of, have seen a lot from different teams, different defensive schemes. So they kind of have an understanding of what they need to do to help their team.
Coach, a little bit of a scare there towards the end with the 4-point play, but how proud of you, of your guys, were you to stay composed in that moment and create another opportunity from the free throw line to steal the deal?
It's to be expected when we're going through some of the things we're going through. We're playing a couple of young guys out there on the floor with Moustapha being a freshman, Mikey a freshman, Dior young, Tyler sophomore. So you're playing some guys out there who don't necessarily have the experience of some of the guys that you normally play with. And everyone's pretty old. These guys are very old, so they have a good feel for the game. They understand what they can do. And the young man made a great play. He came off, set it up really nice, And I literally just, spoke to Mikey right before he hit the three-point shot because I expected them to maybe go to him. And, but just, you can know it, but that doesn't mean you can stop it, And so the young man actually fouled him after he shot the ball. And give that kid credit. I mean, he stepped up and made a great play. We got a 6-point lead with 12 seconds to go. And you're thinking, okay. And then all of a sudden it's 2 because he gets fouled and it's a 4-point play. So it definitely changes the complexity of the game. And but our guys closed well anyway.
On that same note, I know there's some problems with the inbounds pass right before that. There were some problems with this in the same situation against Houston earlier in the season. Yes. So what kind of work goes into designing and drawing up plays to get guys open and to make it a little bit less stressful?
Well, one thing we did better was, timeout-wise, I thought Debo did a great job of utilizing his timeout one of the times because they did a good job. And for us, what happens is, we have, certain lanes we should run when we're trying to get open. And that's where the execution piece comes in. That's where we prepare. We go through this quite a bit. And we end up running a route twice that was a route that we weren't supposed to run. And so we end up bringing too many guys too close together, and now it's easy to guard. One guy could almost literally guard 2 because they're so close together. And we want to space the floor better with these guys getting open in the half court. And that's what we didn't do. So both times it's something we had to show on film and go over again because it shouldn't have happened. We should have been, able to get to more area of the floor, more space where each individual trying to get open has more room to work in a defined area on the court.
Coach, 10-0 run to end the first half. It felt like they were 1 of 8 from the floor in that run. Felt like the defense stepped up at that point.
No, I thought it did. I thought our guys played, with a lot of energy. I thought our defense was good. Guys were very active. Guys made, really good plays for us defensively. And that's what we have to have. In this league, you have to be able to defend. And I thought our guys stepped up and definitely had some stretches where we defended really, really well. And then we rebounded it well. Once we got to stop, we rebounded. They end up having 16-0 boards, but they have a huge front line and they have some active wings. And so, but I give our guys credit for the most part. We did our job defensively and we secured the ball, a fair amount of times.
Johnny, back-to-back wins now. What can you guys take from these 2 games to maybe propel you towards the end of this regular season and maybe even going into the Big 12 tournament?
Well, we just have to keep going, taking it one game at a time. I still say our best basketball is ahead of us as these young players are starting to find their way just like Moustapha has found his way. We have young guys more in the rotation now that have a chance to continue to grow. The more games they play, the more they see the different teams that we're competing against, I think they'll continue to improve, and that's going to help us. So our best basketball to me is still ahead of us as we move forward. We just got to keep practicing that way, preparing that way, and just basically don't waste days. Every day we get in the gym, we have to get better, whether it's on the court or whether it's in the game or whether it's in practice.
Coach, you employed your 9th different starting lineup of the season tonight and inserted Tyler Hendricks for the first time. What can be said about his work ethic to go from not really receiving any rotational minutes to earning this kind of opportunity?
It says a lot about him. I'm always big on it's not the amount of minutes you play, it's what do you do with your minutes. And so he's earned more opportunity because of what he's done with his minutes. I don't care if you play 30 seconds or a minute. I want to see what you're doing. And to me, you have to earn your opportunities to be out there on the floor. And so when you see me put a guy in the lineup, it's not done lightly. He earned that opportunity because of the way he's practiced and the way he's performed in some games for us, leading up to that. And that's why you see him in that position. But very, very proud of him because it's easy when you're in that position, you're not playing some games, not playing multiple games, to really stay engaged in practice, to still try to get better and wait for your opportunity. But I've always told him, everyone's going to have an opportunity on our team at some point in time. The key is, are you going to be ready for it? And obviously, he's been ready for his opportunity, and I'm very happy for him because he's a great human being. He has a lot of talent, and like I said, his best basketball is still ahead of him.
Coach, in the midst of the losing streak, the tension ratchets up, and that win over Utah, Darius said, it took some pressure off, right? It made the team feel looser. What are you seeing there in terms of playing a little looser?
Well, I think it's important. There's nothing like winning. Winning, like I try to explain to our guys, what would our mood have been if some of those close losses would have been wins? It would have been totally different. But obviously, we didn't win those games, so our mood was challenging for us, all of us, staff, players, because everyone cares. Like I said, we all want to represent our community, represent our university to the best of our ability, and we felt at that time we weren't doing that. And so I like that, the fact that we felt that way because you cared. And now how do we turn that caring into, winning? Like I said, it starts with giving winning efforts. I started seeing winning efforts. Maybe we came up short, but I like the effort. And then we've been able to get some wins with winning efforts. And so now that kind of validates how hard we're practicing, how hard we're working on the court when we're playing. It kind of gives these guys, it validates them, and now there's more belief that we can do it because they're seeing the success, not just me saying we had a winning effort and we lost. It's no, we had a winning effort and we won. And so that's a good thing for us.
What are you seeing different defensively the last couple games?
I think the main thing is our focus. I think some of the lineups that we've put out there has helped us also, like a Tyler with his length and what he can do, his activity. I think, Mikey with his, he's young and he's learning, and guys, he's a freshman, so he's starting to figure things out. But he just has an extra gear. He's able to move into places quickly. He's able to get the balls fast. He's able to make plays. And so I think having those guys, more in the rotation has helped us because they're able to make a few more plays that I think we were making early on. And so I think just adding those guys with more rotational minutes and or starting, which both of them have started now, I think has helped us, also defensively.
Coach Tang had some very kind words about you. He told a story how he was a high school coach in Texas, I guess back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and he'd drive to AAU tournaments in Virginia, and he'd always come back down to Duke and just wanted to kind of check everything out. And he said, you'd be working guys out, and you were the nicest guy. You didn't know who he was, obviously, back then, but you'd show him the facilities and all that stuff. So he kind of told us that story. Do you remember Coach Tang for those days? Just kind of curious and what you think he's doing now.
No, I remember. I'm very proud of what Tang has been doing. He's done a great job with his program. He's been a long-time coach, man, basically a lifer. Coached high school, coached, college, and so he's done a really good job. And he's a really good human being. And so for me in this business, that's what you like to be around, and you like to, share these, competitive moments with, really good people. And he's one of those guys. I'm very proud of what he's been able to accomplish there, and he's going to accomplish other great things. He continues to go forward because he's a terrific coach.
Coach, let's talk about the mindset now, back-to-back wins. What's the confidence in the room like? And you said, like Troy said, players playing looser. Where do you see the team going with that?
Well, like I said, we still have room to improve. And we have to continue to go, with the mindset, preparation, and execution. Two things we got to do. We got to prepare hard. We have to execute well on game day. And we've been able to do that, and we need to continue to try to do that because every team that we play is going to be the same as it is the last couple games. The game's going to be hotly contested, very competitive, and we need to be prepared for that, and we need to make sure we play hard for 40 minutes and give ourselves a chance.
Coach, you had one of your better games against TCU, but now you got to go to Fort Worth in their place, especially after the recent road struggles. Kind of speak a little bit more to that mentality to take care of business on the road.
Well, on the road is challenging, and it should be. Any great league, that's a tough challenge, and so we need to make sure we prepare properly. As I said before, we need to make sure we forget about the last game we played them because that was a long time ago. Earlier in the season, we got to take some notes on things we did, but you can throw it out the window. They're at home now. They've had a really good, I think, a good run of wins. They've played really well at times, so I do know that. I haven't watched them, yet, but I look forward to studying them tonight and tomorrow. But, we need to make sure we take care of us too, though. The main thing is always going to come down, it's about us, how we do what we do in preparation and how do we take that preparation and carry it into how we execute in the game. If we do those things at a high level, we give ourselves a chance to win and compete.
All right. Obviously, you guys had a great defensive performance, out-rebounding, out-stealing, and out-blocking Kansas State tonight. What do you think some of the defensive looks that you guys had are really shown through tonight?
Well, I thought just our activity. Like I said, with some of the guys that we've inserted, I thought they've given us a huge lift. I think our bench has given us a huge lift, maybe not tonight in points, but just by making plays. I think about the plays we made, offensive rebounds, extra shot attempts. These guys are, coming in and they're making big contributions. I thought Debo's made a big contribution off the bench. I thought Dior had a really big offensive rebound in the second half for us and put back. Mikey, of course, had several. Tyler had them. So these guys are all helping. They're contributing in their way. They may not be Darius. They may not be Keyshawn as far as, those type of scorers and what they do, but they can be stars at what they do. And that's what you have to understand this game. There's a lot of different roles that can be filled and played. And I think they're really getting comfortable in the roles that they're playing, and they're really doing a great job at what we need them to do.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, you kind of got the monkey off your back the other night against Utah. How does it feel now to put together a winning streak?
It feels good. It's small, but, we're going to keep doing our part. As the older guys, me and Keyshawn, we're going to continue to lead the team, continue to build on, the stuff that we're doing well.
Talk about you three guys' performance. Moustapha ties the UCF record for blocks in a game. You guys combined for 49 points. Let's talk about the team game tonight.
The team game, we just all stayed at it, man. Just kept pushing through practice. Moustapha's a dominant player. You know what I'm saying? His potential is out the roof. He don't like us saying it, but it's true. But he's a dominant player, man. And we just feed off the leader right here, and he just tells us to get going on defense, and then it translates to our offense.
You guys went 3.5 minutes without scoring a field goal. They ended up going 5 of 7, but you converted from the line. How important was it to stay physical and get to the line to maintain that lead?
We knew it was a big, important part of the game. I think we sent them to the foul line too early on in both halves, so we had to do a better job of defending without fouling. They did a pretty good job, but, we had to continue to stay in attack mode. Don't let them off the hook. We were getting close to the bonus, so we just kept being physical with them and driving the basketball.
This was a one-possession game during multiple times down the stretch. What was the mentality going against this Kansas State team that just would not give up?
The mentality was just keep fighting, man, because like they said, we're never, like in this conference, you're going to get one good day probably blowing somebody out, but every game is going to be close because this conference is so stacked and so good. So the mentality, everybody going to make their runs. We just have to stay in the game and stay fighting and not let it get to us. We just have to just play defense and keep working and not let them get offensive rebounds.
Talk a little bit about your ability to kind of dominate off the dribble in being able to score and find your teammates.
They were pressuring the basketball, so which gave us the opportunity, be able to get by using our speed and quickness and whatever moves we had. They started collapsing once we started finding our own shots. It started collapsing, so now we look for our teammates and expect them to make plays, which they did tonight.
Darius, the other night you said that the win kind of lifted a weight off the shoulders against Utah. So did you guys feel like you were playing looser in the beginning of this game? Did it feel a little bit more natural, a little bit easier to go out there and do it tonight?
Yeah, it definitely has. Recently, it's easy for teams to kind of get down after a 7-game losing streak. But, we all stay together. Some of the leaders had a few talks, and we all just loosened up. We were just playing a little bit more, having fun, but, not making anything a joke or being funny. So I think, now that we're having fun with each other, we're building. Our chemistry is getting even stronger, not that it wasn't already there, but, we went through a lot of adversity, and we're fighting through that together.
I think that's the first double-double for you, Moustapha, and you tied, I guess, the school record in blocks. Almost have the record with one more block. You would have just, for the guys, what does Moustapha bring that's just special out there?
Man, like I said, his dominance, like he doesn't. Like we all know he's skilled offensively. He's one of the most skilled bigs I ever played with. But it's the defensive side he brings it on. It's insane because if we get beat, he helps us. He burns the fire out. So that's big on him, and it just shows his potential in every way because he can score, he can knock down the three, he can post up, he can do the floater. But the defensive side, a lot of bigs can't move how he move and go get the ball and get a rebound and block shots like that. And plus his motor. So that's just big for us and help us in multiple ways.
Hey, Moustapha, how does it feel for you to put up that kind of stat line against a Big 12 team?
Just trying to help my team win. That's all I'm trying to do. Every time I go out there, I'm just trying to help my team win, just trying to help my team on defense, even if sometimes if my offense don't go like the way that I want it to go, I'm going to just focus on my defense. And then sometimes if they find me on offense, I'm going to just, do what I have to do.
Darius, you looked like in the first half, you really kind of went aggressive towards the basket. You were more attacking than you maybe were the last game. Is that something you wanted to do? Kind of, you came in with that kind of mindset for this game?
Yeah, I like the matchup I had. So I wanted to attack, not settle on my jump shot early. I feel like some of the past games I've been, settling and giving the defense a break. So, I wanted to put pressure on the rim, be able to make plays for, Keyshawn and Moustapha down low, making their man help off and guard me at the rim. It just opened up the game a lot more. I had the 3-ball going early, so, that was able to help me get down and get to the paint.
Moustapha, I understand being humble and wanting to help the team, but how does it feel just knowing how much work you've put in to see yourself grow as a player and reach this kind of achievement tonight?
It feels amazing. example, last night I was with Coach Dawkins, and then he was just making joke, like he was like, "Man, you never get a double. So when are you gonna get it?" I'm like, "Man, I will do it. I will do it." And then today when I got it, I look at me like, I told you, yeah. So it feel really good, help my team get the win. And then I feel like on the block side, I feel like every time they drive and stuff, I can help my team. So I will always be there and trying to block it.
Keyshawn, this is the first time we've spoken to you since you posted on your note onto social media. So, how do you feel like the message was received internally from your teammates and coaches, and then externally from the fans that saw it?
I think it was received well. I be seeing a lot of stuff. I try to stay off social media, but let's be honest, we're human, so we see stuff and we see everything. So I see a lot of things that a lot of people say about Coach Dawkins, and they don't know half the things he go through. And he still makes it. He still makes the best opportunity out of everything, and he helps us a lot of ways. He does a lot for us. He gives us this plan. We just have to execute it. So I just be trying to have his back like he have ours at all time. I heard he said we don't need to fight his battles, but I just want to be there for him. You know what I'm saying? I think the whole team wants to too.
Moustapha, obviously these last few games, you've really come into your own. 18 at Utah, obviously the double-double, first career one here today. Is it something that you're doing differently, or is basketball just coming easy?
I mean, it's just keep working hard, trust my teammate, and, I know they're going to make me better every time, and then they keep pushing me and following the leaders. So, yeah, that's what I just been trying to do throughout the season, and then it's been paying off.
Obviously, the losing streak set back some of your guys' goals, but what's the urgency right now to finish the season off winning undefeated?
Honestly, as a team, we believe we still have everything in front of us. We have a lot of basketball to play, and we know, once we're starting to click now. So I really don't think any team wants to see us. I'm that confident in the guys behind me, and I'm that confident in our coaching staff. We still have a lot of basketball left.
I saw Anthony Black from the Magic was here. I guess one of the guys from the Cavaliers. Do you guys know them, or is it cool to have NBA guys come to the game?
I think Anthony Black was here with our psychologist, and then I think Craig Porter also played with Coach Tyson and our Dobo Jeff at Wichita State.
Yeah.
So I think they were maybe in town for a game. I think they played last night, right?
Yeah. Did Cleveland win?
Yeah, they did.
I love Orlando, but I'm from Cleveland, just to let guys know.
Keyshawn and Darius, you both finished with a combined 49 points. What's it kind of like when nights like these, when you guys are kind of on the same wavelength?
Nights like these are great when we both doing this. But, at the end of the day, it would just suck for us to, play at this level and then we lose. So, it's a lot of little stuff in there that we have to take the challenges on. As far as defending, rebounding, whatever it is, it's not just about scoring. Obviously, that's our role on this team. But, we have a lot of little details and little assignments that we have to make sure we're doing too.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a scare there at the end with Hazen's 4-point play. How important is it to stay composed in those moments and just execute the right way to close the deal?
You got to stay composed. You can't get rattled, because the moment you get rattled or you start to lose your focus, that's when teams start to go on their run. That's those little plays, those little details. That's when they show up at the end of those games, those last 4 minutes.
You guys went on a 10-0 run to finish the first half. Talk about what that did for your guys' confidence going into the second half, especially after that scoring drought in the first.
Going on that run, it helped us a lot because, you know what I'm saying, we went on a streak when we didn't score, so it helped us. But coming out in the second half, our biggest thing coming out in the second half is defending and winning the first round, which is the first media. So we just try to win the first media and come out aggressive. That's what Coach Dawkins and Darius was saying the whole time. We did good on offense ending the first half, but the second half is our biggest thing we have to work on, and which I think we did. Is just play defense and come out hard and intense because we know the other team's going to want to come out.
Darius, you had a stretch where you missed 4 straight threes, yet you remained confident and hit two back-to-back. How is it really affecting you? How do you move past something like that?
It stinks when you make shots, especially when you're in the gym a lot, getting up a lot of shots, a lot of makes in the off season, even during season, but. At the end of the day, I ain't perfect. I ain't the best shooter in the world. Even Steph Curry, who's the best shooter in the world, misses 3. So it's like that really will humble you right there. They're like, okay, who do I think I am where I just can't miss a shot? So, just staying in the gym, just stay confident. I know my teammates and my coaching staff believes in me to make shots. So, I'm going to keep shooting the basketball.
Obviously, you guys said it wasn't a perfect game. A big reason why Kansas State stayed in was because of the 15 turnovers. What do you guys feel like you have to clean up on that side?
I feel like we have a lot of loose stuff.
Especially me.
Both of us, you know.
I
Me
mean,
too.
but we're like dominant ball handlers, so it's gonna come with that, like in our roles as scoring. But we definitely have to tighten it up because we get a little loose sometimes, especially when we get it going and things like that, and try to get in our bag and ISO. So we gonna have to tighten it up. Coach Dawkins gonna get on us and film tomorrow, and that's just gonna be that.
Yeah.
You guys beat TCU by a pretty good margin here a few weeks ago. Now you got to go to their place. I'm sure they're going to be fired up for this rematch. Just kind of what do you remember about that game? What will be important on Saturday in Fort Worth?
You know, my leadership. I would bring forward my leadership because I played there last year. Thankfully, I think we caught them on spring break last year, so that was great. But just continue to build on the stuff that we did. We're gonna watch film on everything that we did good versus them. We're gonna watch the stuff that we need to work on versus them. We're gonna watch the film where the games after they played us to see where they improved. So the coaches are gonna do their part, and we have to do our job to be sponges and gain all the knowledge that they're gonna preach into us.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Gotcha. First of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for the blessing of being able to coach these guys and, man, do what I love. I remember being a young high school coach and watching games like this on TV and just dreaming of being here. And so, obviously this is not the outcome that I dreamt about, but just being given this opportunity, and I understand it is a huge blessing. So blessed to be here and thankful to work with these guys. Want to give Johnny and his staff and his team all the credit for the win tonight. Their players made plays. Johnson and Hall going for 49 tonight when we had an emphasis on them. And sometimes you just need dudes to be dudes, and they were dudes tonight. And then, making free throws down the stretch was big for them. So all the credit goes to those guys.
Coach, when you have a season like this where you guys go on a winning streak and then immediately followed up with a losing streak and a close loss on the road, what's the message like to the team in the locker room?
Yeah, we got to be better. Like, we're not good enough to take plays off or have – like, we lost the middle eight today, right? Like, the 10-0 run to end the half, 6-2 run to start the second half, right? It's a 14-point swing, right? We're not good enough, I love our guys' toughness, grittiness. We keep fighting to come back and stuff, but at some point in time, we got to not have to fight to come out. Just fight at the beginning, and then you don't have to worry about the comeback, and so, but yeah, we got to be better. And, you guys know me. Normally I walk here and say, hey, I'll take the blame for it and stuff, but we all have to take ownership of this one and moving forward, because it doesn't get any easier. Right, we're in the second best league in America this year, but over the last 7 years, been the best league in America, and that's what we signed up for. I told them as 12-year-olds, they dreamt of playing in games like this, right? They'd watch TV and go, man, I want to be out there, right? And so now, we got to be sick and tired of it, and then make the change. We have to do that.
Max, Coach mentioned losing the middle eight, the 10-0 run, and then sort of another run to start the second half. Can you pinpoint a reason as to why that sort of happened, or what do you guys need to do better to sort of not allow that to happen?
I just think everything starts on the defensive end. Obviously, we were getting stops and stuff like that, but we weren't getting the rebound. And then I know we could have got a lot of points in transition. That was part of the game plan, but we couldn't get in transition because if we didn't get the rebound. So I felt like they went on a little run, that 10-0 run, because we couldn't get a rebound. They just kept getting offensive rebounds too.
Coach, we saw Buddy Rich get some playing time today after sort of not seeing the floor. What did he do to earn that playing time, and what did you think of his performance?
Buddy was good. Buddy's grown up, and part of the great part of my job, but it's also the part that probably gets questioned the most is the opportunity to help these young men grow as men, right? And there's no place no business in the world where you get paid before you work, right? And that's what you have to teach these guys, man, that you got to work, right? It's not easy. Naquan Tomlin, I don't know if he's in there. He's out there, right? And he just told me, he said, man, I've learned so much, just how important it is, and how hard it is, right? And so, there's no easy way. Life's not easy. Right, and so Buddy's doing some growing up, and I'm proud of him, and I was proud of his effort today and being ready. I should have probably played him last game. I was close on it. The last game of getting him in there, but he's responding the right way, and now he needs to respond the right way to this.
Their big man, Moustapha, Thiam, sort of gave you guys problems throughout on the defensive side of the ball, and then especially, I guess, on the offensive glass. What challenges did he present, and how can you guys do a better job of facing big men like that and containing them as much as possible?
Yeah, tell you the truth, we didn't I really didn't think he had an impact because he was out there, but we wanted him to be a scorer, right? Like, we wanted him to be the person who they was throwing the ball to and being aggressive, because that played in our favor. We didn't want Hall and Johnson doing it, and so, he's a talent. Now, obviously he's a talent, and he's going to be a really good basketball player. And so very, very impressed with his skill level, to late in the game when he stepped to line, hit those 2 free throws, and there was there was no doubt those things were going in when they left his hands. So that kind of confidence and that kind of skill level for a guy that size, that's impressive. But if he had taken 7 more shots, I would have been happy with that.
Doug, when you guys dig yourself into that kind of hole and you have to try and bounce back, and you guys get so close and sort of finish short, how frustrating is that, and how difficult is it to come back from those deficits when you build them?
It definitely is very frustrating because nobody wants to lose the game, but we dug ourselves a 16-point hole. In one of the best leagues in the country, is pretty hard to come back from. So to be honest, all we can do is learn from this. We got another one coming up, so we can't get this one back. We got to put it behind us.
Coach, 3 games left in the regular season and then conference tournament. How important are these next 3 games for you guys, and what do you want to see from the team in these next 3?
Yeah, I'm not thinking about 3 games. I'm thinking about 1 game, right? That's what this is about. It's about 1 game. 1 game, 1 mission, win at home. And like I said on the radio, and I'll say right now to our fans, any team that's come to Bram and felt the octagon of doom, right, like what it's supposed to be like, has left with an L, right? And the ones like we played in January when the students weren't there, they didn't get to feel the doom. And last game, that team didn't get to feel the doom. We're not good enough without our fans. So, I need our students at the game, right? And every time I've been asked to speak to a sorority or fraternity or any student organization, I've been there, right? And so I'm asking our students to show up for this next one. We need them. We can't win. We don't win without Bram being the octagon of doom. And so this is a challenge to our fans and to our students, and I've been there for you guys. Every one of them has my phone number. I give it out to all the students. If they need me, they can call me or text me, and I'm there for them. And so I need them, right? Our team needs them. And so that's what I want to see. I want to see a packed Bram and make life miserable for Colorado.
Question for both Coach and Max. What's the biggest difference that from that winning streak to now that sort of changed the results on the court?
I'd just say on that 6-game winning streak, it felt like there was a different type of energy, defensively and offensively. We were getting rebounds, we were pushing it up the court, getting to the hoop, getting fouled. It's not that we're doing that now, it's just then we just had a different type of energy, and I definitely feel that.
Yeah, during the win streak, our DER was like .94. No, it was 94.5. Our DER was, and then the next 2 games after that. So I'm not positive what it was the 3rd game, but the next 2 games after that, it was 115 point whatever, and that's defense. That's defensive effort, and so we're capable of holding teams, in 90, 95 or less points per possession, and we just hadn't done it. And I'd be surprised if it was lower than 95 in this game.
Finally, do you have an update on Coleman? I know he didn't play today, and you sort of mentioned earlier in the week that you didn't think he would.
Yeah, I'm not, Luke and Phil and, Coleman's doing a great job rehabbing and doing everything Luke has asked him to, and Doc and those guys are taking care of that. Coleman has a bright future ahead of him, and we're not going to do anything to jeopardize that. And so when he's ready, he'll come back. And if that's next game, it's great. If it's not, I'm okay with that because, I'm here for the long haul with that young fella.
I guess with the offensive rebounding and the scoring runs that UCF went on, is that defensive effort or is that something else that you can pinpoint?
Well, defense doesn't stop till we get the ball, right? That's it. Defense doesn't stop till we get the ball. So our first shot defense, has been pretty good, and we gotta get the ball off the glass. And we had too many bobbles and too many times that we didn't block guys out, and we'll be watching it on film.
Coach, I just want to get your thoughts on Johnny Dawkins and the kind of job he's done at UCF. I think you got him in the first game last year, their first Big 12 game at your place. And I know UCF, a lot of people thought they kind of had the biggest hurdle, moving up from the American to, play in the Big 12. But just what are your thoughts on Johnny and how he's kind of built this program?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what's like the most important thing to me about Johnny, right, is that as a high school coach, I would drive guys to 5-star camp. From Texas to Virginia. And on the way back, we would stop at Duke and North Carolina. And whenever we stopped at Duke, if Johnny was in the gym playing, working guys, doing whatever he was doing, he'd work guys that weren't Duke players out, play 2-on-2 full court, do different things. He would always stop and come over and talk to me. As a high school, I had no players, right? Couldn't help them. He'd come over and spend time with us. They would show us around, the facilities, and just was so kind, man. And, that's the kind of dude I want my son to play for if he played, Like that's the kind of person I want mentoring young men who are going to become future leaders and stuff. And so the changing landscape of college basketball, it is so unfair to judge coaches right now because they haven't given us set rules. And every time they give us rules, they've changed it the last 3 years. The rules have changed every year my last 3 years, right? Like what guys I would have been able, wouldn't have been able to leave, were able to leave. Guys that didn't have eligibility had eligibility, and so it is really hard, right? And so it's hard to judge guys. When administrators who are making the rules, right, get us a set of rules, then give us a couple of years and then judge us. Okay, and so, but as a man, it doesn't get better than him.
Max, you had a season high 22 points in 33 minutes. Talk a little bit about how you kind of was a leader at certain points when K-State needed you maybe most.
Yeah, it definitely felt good getting 22. But I mean, all that stuff doesn't really matter if you don't get the W. I feel like I do. Not I, just everyone on our team. We do whatever it takes to win, but obviously we didn't come up with that today. So, it doesn't really mean nothing to me.
Coach, you were able to hold UCF to over 3 minutes without hitting a field goal, and you guys hit 5 of your last 7. Kind of just take me through what happened, why you guys weren't able to completely close the deficit. Was it just that they kept getting to the line? Just what did you see?
Yeah, I thought our zone stymied him a little bit there at the end. But I think a couple possessions we fouled. And so they were able to go to the free throw line. You can't guard the free throw line. So, but, they did what, good teams, well-coached teams do. They figured out a way to close at the end.
Coach, midway through the first half and even in the second, we saw different defenses, full court presses, zones. What did you see that allowed you guys to force 15 turnovers on UCF?
We just were really doing it to try and get the ball out of Johnson's hands. Because, he's the straw that stirs the drink for them. And so it wasn't necessarily we was trying to cause turnovers, but, I just felt like for us, we need to cause turnovers so that we can get out in transition.
Coach, a lot of the defensive stats, rebounds, blocks, steals, UCF had your number today. Can you kind of walk us through what was really UCF was doing right today?
Let's see. I just don't think we closed possessions, right? Like this whole thing changes if we end possessions with a block out, right? That's what we get the ball with two hands and all that changes. And so I thought their effort in the second half to go to the offensive glass was greater than their effort in the first half. And I didn't think our attention to blocking out to start the second half was very good. And so they got 5 offensive rebounds, I think, by the first media when I called the timeout. And then at the end of the game, they ended with 3 offensive rebounds when we got stops. So to me, that was the difference in the game. Thanks a lot. God bless. Go Cats.